Here's what we have for news, right? We know that they achieved IL6 level for DoD data work. We know they have massive connections and massive contracts in the government space. They're an absolute power player in the military and war space. They have a growing commercial space. Their products work. They are executing on this. They're growing their contracts. They're sitting on a boatload of cash. They have access to credit facilities as of the last report. That's what we're aware of. With the amount of cash and credit they're sitting on, the fact that they're one of only 3 approved vendors at IL6, one is Microsoft, one is AWS, Amazon, the other is, of course, Palantir. The fact that they are so much smaller than those other 2, as well as overall sort of metrics and growth of the company, there's just certain things here that are so impossible to compete with, at least for the near term. I can't even conceptually come up with a way for how I would do that. Number one, let's just think about the government side for a second. And I'm telling you, this is not some fanboy BS where like I'm really hot to trot on this position. I'm telling you, it's not that at all. They're one of only 3 vendors who are working with the US government for IL6. Okay. So right off the bat, that means they're going to sort of have first dibs on any kind of contract at the DoD data level that requires that level of data security and the ability to operate and execute within extremely private data centers, servers, lakes, etc. Okay. Now, the other piece of that is the soft piece. This is the part that's hard to materialize into a metric or into an analysis. When you think about it in terms of connections, they have a massive base of military and government connections. They work with governments and militaries all over the world. They have the data and proof points to do this. When you combine that level of personal connection with the technology connection and execution, combined with the fact that they're also sitting on cash and can acquire or add on to the business, release new products, continue to do heavy R&D, etc. I stand back and I just almost think to myself, what am I missing? What part of this is wrong? And I think that maybe if I was going to pull some strings and separate from the government side of the business, which, look, we know is extremely strong. They just closed another huge contract the other day. You could definitely pick apart the commercial business, okay? And anyone who tells you otherwise is so full of it, they could probably float on top of the water. For sure, their commercial business is beatable. For sure, they're not winning all of their deals. For sure, customers will naturally churn to some degree. But that still puts them in the top tier of players in that space. So they don't need to win all of those deals. They just can win some of those deals and still be a huge, really great company. And when I think about where they are and what they've released and the size of their teams, it's very small compared to a lot of players. If I break this into 2 categories, in one side, it is just complete dominance on the government side and the military side and the DoD side and that perspective. On the other side, it is a growing and dominant player in the commercial space. It's important to call out that, you can be dominant while not controlling the whole business, right? As long as you're winning and adding and growing that baseline, you can dominate in small ways and that can grow over time. And as more of that government contract money keeps coming into the company and keeps building it, the more and more I keep getting excited about how that allows them to fund more on the commercial side, expand more on that side of the house as well.